Hey everybody, it's the Dynamite Show. Paul Fontaine, Jeff Hawkins here on the Fight Game Media YouTube channel. Checking in about 10-15 minutes after Dynamite ended. Not too bad of an overrun this week. And for those of you on the Fight Game Media free audio feed, I want to thank you all for supporting the network and joining us on Thursday morning. Jeff, I actually did watch Forbidden Door, believe it or not.
I did as well.
Oh, you did, eh? Did you watch it live?
Yes.
Oh, okay. My condolences. Because that was a long show. It's funny because I watched it the next day, and it takes me so Garrett and I were going to do our show, and so I was like, how much time do I need to watch this show? So I started watching it at 3:00, and because we were going to record at 7. No, that was not enough time. So, because I watched the pre-show too, which was probably a mistake.
I did as well. I had the pre-show on. I was cleaning my house while I was watching all this.
Okay.
I liked the time. I prefer. Let's put it this way: if you're gonna go long, start me at 8:30 in the morning my time, so at least I have some time afterwards.
Well, see, the problem with that is if it's Sunday, it's there's church. And,
Sunday there's a problem.
Yeah, and then there's also the wife usually wants to do things on Sundays, and if she doesn't, then I usually just want to sit and watch baseball or football and fall asleep on the couch, basically, and I can't really do that with wrestling. I mean, I could, but then people ask me for my thoughts, and it's like, well, I fell asleep. I did fall asleep during Zach and Nigel.
Did you? I actually enjoyed that match.
I liked the match. It was just I fell asleep. It was a long show.
Yeah, I kind of went in and out. I was, doing things, and I was kind of bored by the wrestling, to be honest with you, because I just felt like it never, for me at least, watching the show overall, and maybe this is just trying to get through it live, I never felt it got hot in terms of, emotion. The emotional timbre felt the same to me throughout the entire show.
You know why that is? I'll tell you why. I figured it out while I was watching. I'm 8 matches in, including the pre-show, and it dawned on me. Every single match that we've seen so far involves at least one person, and in some cases many people, that are not regular characters on television. So it's hard to get into it because of that, because you're not emotionally invested. These matches haven't really had a ton of build until you got to Mercedes and Tony. It's Tony and Athena. Mm-hmm. Once you got to Tony and Athena, now you've got people that are involved, and that's when it started to feel like a real big time pay-per-view. Then you got Hangman and MJF, then you got the main event.
Yeah,
and even the main event had people that weren't on TV, but there was enough build for the main event that it's pretty easy to get into.
I don't know. I got a little bit of a guff for this opinion, so let me put it to you this way.
Yeah.
So to introduce this cage match, it's this long, sappy tribute to Will Ospreay. Oh, we may never see him again. Here's his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Thank you, Will. All these things. Throughout the night, this is Will's last match before he goes in for surgery. Last match before he goes in for surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the emotional... I'm watching that beatdown after the match and going, oh, thank God he's scheduled for surgery this week.
This is the inherent psychological problem with this whole thing. Number one, he came out a month ago, a little over a month ago, and told us, okay, I've had problems with my neck for all year, and I'm gonna need some time off. But
that was the problem. He should have just said, I'm having some problems with my neck, and never told us he needed to go away.
Or maybe not even tell us he's having problems with his neck. And
show us he's having problems with his
neck. Then he cuts into, okay, now that's the off-screen stuff. Now let's get into character. And I'm vowing revenge on you, blah, blah. I'll be back for Forbidden Door. And we're like, oh, okay, well, he's obviously not going to wrestle because he just told us he's going to be off for a long time. Then he comes back a couple weeks ago, and doctors won't clear him. He's going to have to get surgery. But I'm going to challenge you anyways, Moxley. And then we're going to have a lights out steel cage match. Now, several people pointed this out to me, and they are correct. If Will really was on the verge of not being cleared, kind of like we talked about, like the doctor said, we recommend against it, but you're not really going to hurt yourself much more by doing this match. Doing a 10-man steel cage match is probably safer for Will than doing a one-on-one 30-minute singles match.
Mm-hmm.
Going to do less. When I watched this cage match, I got to say, like, for a lights out steel cage match, like, I actually liked it. Like, everything was, I mean, it was a spot fest, but everything looked relatively safe, but it also looked good. Will, in particular, didn't have to do too much. Hiroshi Tanahashi, thank God, didn't have to do too much. I mean, really, nobody did a ton except for Darby. They really spent a lot of time setting moves up and doing the moves, but they didn't actually, like, it wasn't like boom, 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 like, it was like 35 minutes of like well-paced, crazy high spots.
It was spots, but there wasn't a coherent strategy on behalf of the heels to win the match in any way.
No, because it was all about what was going to happen after the match.
Correct.
Yeah, unless Will was going to take an insane bump at some point during the match. But no, I mean, the way they did that was good too. Except, I mean, that leads to a whole other bit of questions.
But that should have been the story of the match, is that all the heels are targeting Will's neck. And then maybe the beatdown afterwards, even though we know it's coming. You know, you and I are old. We've watched 80s house show or like Omni matches. You know, we've seen the great, you know, the turn on Dusty of Ole Anderson with the assassins and the Russians. We've watched the Horsemen trap Dusty in a cage and we've watched those crowds basically almost riot those nights. And the only people kind of angry about Will getting beat down are the ops.
Yeah. Even the fans weren't like bullshit, throwing stuff in the cage or whatever. Like, at least they didn't chant one more time. Like, that would have been the worst. Like,
we want tables.
Yeah. But the weird thing is, okay, so they do this thing and I watched it the next day. And I'm like running short on time, so I messaged Garrett because we were going to do it at 7:00 our time, and it's like 6:45, and I'm just starting the main event. So I'm like, okay, there's no way I'm going to finish it. So I said, how much? I know there's a post-match angle that Garrett says we're going to have to talk about. I don't know what the angle is. So I said, how much time do I need for this main event angle? He says about 10 minutes. I'm like, well, shit. Then I got to fast forward to 10 minutes left in the show. So I did. So I know something's coming. And as soon as the way that ended, where the baby faces were all leaving the cage one by one and shaking Will's hand, I was like, okay, well, obviously Will's going to be left in alone. If it was that obvious to me watching it, I'm not sure why it wasn't so obvious to the baby faces who were leaving him alone in a cage with the Death Riders who were still in the cage. And then this is what I don't understand. And I think it was a fuck up, but I don't know, because we had in the shot while Will is being beaten down by the Death Riders and while they're setting up for the Pillman, you see Marina scaling the cage, no problem, on the other side, right in the shot. Meanwhile, the baby faces are standing around outside the cage with their thumbs up their asses with no idea
get into this cage.
Not to mention, apparently the cage can just be lifted. And why didn't anybody lift the cage? What was Tony doing?
Tony Khan was back there going, should I lift it for him?
Yeah, like
they could probably climb. Well, they might try and climb it. I don't want.
Were the Bucks still holding on to that cage? But nobody brought any of this up. And fine, whatever. And meanwhile, like, was it 5 minutes earlier? Darby had scaled that cage like it was a freaking, like you're doing the high school athletics test. And you're running up a thing. It was that was all bizarre. But I mean, it was well done in a sense. But again, it was all like so set up, and again by the by the fact that they did that video, which was a great video. But it was basically telling you like, okay, this is the last time you're going to see Will for a while, which is fine.
I'll be honest, I was left a little flat by the end of MJF and Hangman.
Yeah,
I was like,
so bad.
What?
They've screwed up that finish.
Who?
MJF and Hangman.
Oh, did they?
Well, okay. So what they told us tonight was what was supposed to happen, but it's not what actually happened. Because what happened was MJF got a pin on Hangman.
Yes.
The ref counts 1. The ref counts 2. The ref counts 3.
Counts 3.
And then he dies.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mark Briscoe comes out after the ref is dead. And the story now is that Mark Briscoe cost MJF the match and then Mark's story is that I was going to make sure that the same thing that happened to me didn't happen to Hangman. Meanwhile, he had nothing to do with it. It was so I know now. Yes. At least I know what was supposed to happen. It's just not what actually happened. So.
No, and then even even the part where Hangman hits him with the contract to get the pin, I was kind of like, okay, just
yeah. Well, at least he's not like stupid Cody.
No, that's true. Yeah. No, that's true. But it's just like, well, you're gonna beat him anyway. It was like, okay, cool, whatever. Yeah. I was kind of interested in the discourse after as well, because there were a lot of thought pieces about, Swerve and Ospreay are leaving for a while. Who's gonna step up? And I'm like, how about you make Hangman the actual guy? You
don't want AR Fox?
Oh, AR, that one. I think I wrote you the internet was a mistake. Yeah, I think, or something like that, or we need to shut it down. I could, but no. What you need to do is make Hangman the actual, the John Cena of this company. Yes,
the Cody.
Make him the star, because now you don't have any of these baby faces drawing heat, having better matches or whatever, and going, well, maybe we should belt him here or there, the other place. You could make Hangman the actual star of this show.
And they're trying in some ways, but it's almost like Tony is trying to do both, because
he's overthinking how to do it.
Still being built around Mox.
Yes.
Even now, like Moxley Darby was what this Tonight Show is all about.
Hey guys, we saved the company from the Death Riders. We got the belt back.
Yeah.
Death Riders in main event. Death Riders main event of Forbidden Door. Death Riders main event of Dynamite.
Now let's hope that Darby, maybe he gets rid of Mox once and for all at All Out, and then that. Well, I can hope. He promised to. He promised to.
Stop! Because Daniel Garcia is going to ruin that match.
Oh my God, Daniel Garcia, yeah. No, he's gonna churn. So that was. But I did like. Okay, so we said some of the stuff that was bad about it. I did like the show. I thought it was the formatting of the show was good, in the sense that like it built to the good stuff at the end. So as you're going, you're like, okay, it did feel long, and I thought some of the early stuff maybe we didn't need, but once it got going, it was pretty good. And I did like, I mean, the last 3 matches I had all at 4.5 stars or better. So
I didn't feel anything was important. There were things that were good. Don't get me wrong. It's one of these things where, and this is also me writing stories in my head a little bit, and I'll admit that full out. Don Callis Family should be ascending heavily right now, and instead of doing that, and like that story's correct. The story of the Don Callis Family wants the World Heavyweight Championship is the correct story to take, given the guys that are in there, the big dudes and crap like that, and Callis is obsessed, and he should be talking about, I'm going to run Hangman out of this business, I'm going to destroy him, and I'm going to take the title, etc., etc.
And as he said, he's got half the locker room.
He has half the locker room, yes.
So that's like your run a challenger for the next 6 months.
But we should not be doing the Takeshita Okada split yet.
And it feels like it's coming like next week.
It feels like they're rushing it because, we don't have enough baby faces out there. Whatever are we going to do? No, you have Hangman. That's the only babyface you need right now. You need to build that guy.
And you've got people backing him up like Darby and Kenny.
Yes.
And Coda.
But it's one of those things where it's like, I don't want to know about the internal politics of the Don Callis family until everybody's kind of failed at taking out Hangman, and then they can bicker with one another as to whose fault it is they don't have the title, et cetera, et cetera. There's a natural progression to these things, and it feels like, well, we added Wardlow. We need to take out Takeshita so we can have a good guy.
What they needed tonight was remember Bewitched when they replaced Darren,
the two Darrens,
and then the 1 week the voiceover just said playing the part of, they needed a voiceover tonight playing the part of Lance Archer, Wardlow.
Yeah,
because he basically just took the spot that
this is. You know what it is? It's very WWE in a way. Because like they've done this now with the Seth Rollins group, in that they've almost instantly started to turn Braun Breaker when he was in there, and you're just like, no, I want to see these guys gel a little bit, and do things.
Well, at least they won tonight. They won tonight, which I actually was not expecting.
The guy who won shocked me too. Josh Alexander, okay, cool. I'm here for that.
I saw that thing, and it's like, okay, Josh Alexander's losing. He's probably getting pinned by, Brody. I don't know. Bandito, maybe. But no, it was the right call because, the only other better call would have been Hechicero beating
Bandito.
Well, I wouldn't do that, but maybe Kenny King or Kevin Knight. Sorry.
Isn't he challenging for the title this week?
He is, but I don't think you beat Bandito. Like, that is WWE. Like,
well, no, but you do it in a more chicanerous way.
You could. Clean. Yeah, you could. All right, let's talk about this card. I don't think we got anything else to say about Forbidden Door, do we?
No, I really don't. They had a nice crowd. I mean, they had almost 18,000, which is kind of shocking.
Well, they claimed almost 19,000. It was 18,992 was what they claimed.
Okay.
WrestleTix had it at like 17,500. And I think the key is they wanted to announce a number that was bigger than WWE's attendance that they had there. And it probably was bigger. Like, I'm not saying that they're lying, and WWE is probably lying too. So, but they did announce Fernando thinks it was the second best pay-per-view of the year. I wouldn't go that far, but it was a good show.
For AEW or just in general pay-per-view?
Well, even if it's just AEW, like, I think
that's true.
Like All In was great, so that's definitely better. And I'd have to think back to the other ones, but I guess there's only been like 4, right? 5 maybe.
Yeah.
Dynasty, Double or Nothing. Double or Nothing, I think, was good.
Double or Nothing was good.
It wasn't, or it was?
No, it was. I thought Revolution was good.
Yeah, Revolution was really good. So I don't know. I'd have to go back and look, but it was good. Like, it's hard for me to compare, unless it's really, really bad or really, really awesome. And it's hard for me to remember that too. So they were at the former ECW arena, the 2300 arena. I don't want to talk about this controversy with the workers. You don't? Okay. No, not at all.
I just laugh now when I look at the 2200 arena, because it is no way what I remember it to be the time I went.
I didn't remember.
Then again, I went decades ago at the height of ECW, so it was one of those things.
I went to the Performance Center in Orlando in 2023, and it looked like that on TV. Like, I know it doesn't really look like that, but that's what it looked like. Like,
no. This looks all cleaned up and professional and stuff. Yeah. It actually looks pretty good. I kind of
the one thing I really did like that was different, and it's not like the Performance Center, is the way the aisle, like leading into and out of the dressing room. Like, although it did force them, because you had the heels and the baby faces coming out of the same area, they had to do things a little bit differently this time, but it made for some interesting like brawls and in and out of the ring stuff that they normally don't do. So I did like that.
I don't feel like I'd be fearing for my life this time if I went to the 2200 arena.
No, although like they started out like during the when FTR was coming in, I thought, okay, this is gonna be wild, because the fans, like, and I normally skip the entrances, but I forgot to, and I'm watching like the fan like totally get into it with Cash Wheeler, and they're censoring it like crazy because the guy's just on camera going, "Fuck you, Cash, fuck you." And it's like they're bleep 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 bleep.
I think that guy might be a former worker.
Oh, really?
Because he had he had some kind of relationship with Daniel Garcia when he came out too.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
By that point, I was right on the fast forward button during the things. But no, it was so yeah, they were there. They did the intros from the ringside. It was Ian, Excalibur, and Taz. So unfortunately, no Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson. That's over. They ran down the card. They announced Jon Moxley versus Daniel Garcia, and I had looked at the lineup like an hour before the show, and this match wasn't on it. So this was a total last minute ad, and that's fine. Whatever, it doesn't matter. And that kicked off the show. They showed the Ospreay angle, which is smart because apparently some of the cable providers cut it off. As soon as the credits came, as soon as the credits came up, like some of the cable companies shut it off. So yeah, they not a lot, but Dave on Wrestling Observer Radio was saying that there was a few systems that cut it off. So it was a good thing that they showed it here. And then I noticed that the building looked tiny on TV. I think they set it up for like 900. So, that's, like a third of what they normally do. And what they normally do isn't that huge. So, I mean, it made for a rowdy crowd at times, especially during this opening segment. So FTR set up for a promo. I noted that the fan was screaming and they had to edit. And then Dax couldn't get his mic working. And then it was working, but he didn't know it was working. And so that wasted a couple minutes. Fans are chanting.
Well, it was coming through the TV, but may not have been coming through in the arena.
Gotcha. Okay, so he couldn't hear himself, and he didn't know if the fans could hear him, but eventually they could. And then he says, unfortunately, on Sunday there was a miscarriage of justice at Forbidden Door. I know there are a ton of people around the world, especially in Philly, that couldn't wait to celebrate the 11-time champions FTR. Fans are chanting, "Shut the fuck up." I said, on Sunday at Forbidden Door, the illegal man pinned me. The illegal man pinned me on Sunday, and the man I want to talk to is right here. So for some reason, Paul Turner was in the ring, even though there was no reason for him to be there. And of course, Dax is bullying him. And he says, Paul, how long has this been your profession? He says, 27 years, sir. Paul has been an official for 27 years. You got a wife and kid, right? They're here tonight, right? Can you imagine going home to your wife and kid and telling them you failed at your job because of an incompetent moron? And Paul's like, nope. And he said, that'd be the worst thing in your life. And I had to tell my family that I failed. So now to right this wrong, all I need you to do is admit you're wrong, reverse the decision, and name FTR the brand new AEW World Tag Team Champions. And Paul's like, nope. Fortunately, Dax, my decision's final. He says, you know what, Paul? I'm going to do something that no one in this company has done. I'm going to tell you to your face, you're a moron. This is Stokely actually talking.
Yes.
You're a moron, an imbecile, and a complete nincompoop. You want to appease the online fans and the fans here. And the fans are chanting no ho at him. He says, you want to appease these degenerates? You want to do the right thing? Well, hop off and whatever he said got bleeped. I have no idea.
I think it was probably hop off these fans' dicks and do or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, that would be it. And he says,
because I think they were trying to go a little bit for the spirit, and I thought they were going to do this originally with Cash and Dax of those old Dudley promos.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can see that. And then he says, you're an idiot. Or Paul says to Stoke, you're an idiot. Dax shoved him. And then Edge's music hits. And out he comes. And the FTR is all ready for him. And then Christian from behind gave Stoke the I'm prettier. Then he starts beating on FTR. Edge jumped in. A bunch of refs came down. Fans are chanting, holy shit. They're brawling in another ring. Fans are chanting, this is awesome. At one point, Edge and Christian were 2-on-1 on Dax. And eventually, FTR left the ring, and they left Edge and Christian in there. And Christian gets a mic, and he says, at Forbidden Door, we took care of my problem. Now it's time to take care of Adam's problem. And hey, Dax, I understand you have a father. And the fans pop. And he says, Cash, you have a father as well, don't you? And Cope takes the mic from him. He's like, no, no, no. And the fans boo. And then Cope's like, yeah, you're all a bunch of sickos. Fine. And they all cheer. And then he says, and that bitch is dead. It's like, what? Is he talking about his dad? Like, I don't.
I think so.
Okay, so Cash's dad is dead. I don't know. Doesn't matter. And then Cope grabs the mic back and he says, "Listen to me now. Open up your goddamn ears. It's set in stone. All Out Toronto, September 20th in our hometown in Toronto for the first time ever at CNC." And I was waiting for the Wrestle Factory, but no, he just said CNC. Maybe it's coming. And he says, "It's time that I take my pound of flesh." And that's that. So we have a match for Forbidden Door. Edge and Christian and FTR. So we're like a month out and we're already got matches. It was good. I overall was good. Rough start.
Yeah. No, it was a fun brawl.
And this may have been like the most heated the crowd was all night was during the segment. So kudos to them as well.
I love just watching Stokely be dead.
Yeah.
During the entire brawl.
They basically like carried his dead carcass to the back.
Well, but even when the fight starts, he gets dumped outside and he's laying outside the ground. They're kind of stepping around him to do the brawl and stuff. I howled at that. That was great.
Yeah, he better get some votes.
He works with FTR pretty well. I mean,
I did not think that was.
I didn't think so either.
No, and it's definitely worked. So then we get a Darby Allin tape promo, and he said, "To everyone that wished I died on Mount Everest, I apologize that I'm still here." I don't know who that would be, but he says, "I dreamed a lot about this, Mox. When I said I was taking everything from you, I meant everything. Your title, your career, your livelihood. When I was going up and down Mount Everest, I saw the bodies and I cried. But at the end of the day, life is just a 15-minute ride, and it's not about the ride. It's about what happens in that 15 minutes. All the bullshit you put people through, you're taking these precious moments away from them, and I'm never going to stop coming after you. They told me don't step on this mountain unless you're willing to die for this, and I'm telling you, John, don't step in the ring with me unless you plan to die for it. At All Out, I take everything, and I mean everything from you." So at this point, I assumed the match was signed because he didn't challenge him. He flat out said the match was happening. And I assume the match is happening, but later on, Moxley would say, no, the match isn't happening. But I like the promo. I thought it was really good.
I will accept this type of pretentiousness from Darby Allin. Yeah, I liked it.
Well, the thing is, if anybody else said what he said, it would sound.
It would make no sense. Yes,
but with him, you believe everything. You know,
exactly.
Like,
yeah,
I think he actually did look at bodies on the way up and cry. Like, I wouldn't surprise me one bit. So this leads to Jon Moxley versus Daniel Garcia. This match was wild. And like, I don't mean wild as in like it was wild, like the main event was wild. I mean, it was bizarre. So they told us at the start of this match, they talked about the cash-in and how Tony Khan had made a ruling in the press conference after that. The cash-in now has to be done 7 days in advance. I'm not sure why they felt the need to mention it here, but I'm glad they told us. And the crowd wasn't really into the match at all. They were chanting "fuck you, Yuta," and I'm not even sure if he was out there at that point. I think he came out later.
Well, let's pause for a second.
Okay.
Garcia did none of the dancing. He teased it, but he didn't actually do it.
Okay, I missed that because I fast forwarded through the
right. Yeah, no, he came out far more a little bit serious, and then in the preamble a bit to the match, it's kind of Moxley telling Yuta and Marina to back off of Garcia too.
Matt's questioning the fact that the crowd wasn't into it. I said at the beginning. They got into it as it went on.
They got into it eventually.
Yeah, like by the end, it was pretty hot. But I'm just talking like right at the beginning, they were kind of quiet, not really reacting and chanting about people that weren't even there. We should also mention with Garcia at the pay-per-view, he kind of teased that he was going to turn on Nigel.
They gave us Chekhov's towel.
Yes.
Thinking we were there going to watch it throw him, and then they never did.
No. And then they did the promo segment after where like it looked like he was going to
It looked like he was going to turn on him. I'm inclined to tip my cap for those. I really am. It's one of those things where it's just like, but they're drawing it out way too long.
They could almost make Garcia into something if he actually turns down the Death Riders. And, you know, because they need baby faces. And right now, nobody cares about Danny Garcia. So if he actually spurned the Death Riders and Hangman stuck up for him, like maybe, you know?
I think I like that idea, but not as a baby face. I like him as being more out of control heel than the Death Riders, that they can't control it. Maybe they create a monster of which they may have to eventually have to deal with.
There's something I got to ask you about, and it's fairly soon, but there was something I thought was going to happen that didn't happen, and I want to know what you were thinking when it happened. Okay, so but then I noticed, like, after the chants, there was a dual chant, but the second part of it was pretty light, where the fans are chanting "Fuck you, Yuta," and then we had a few people chanting "We love Yuta." And then so then I noticed, okay, Yuta is there, but Daddy Magic was there as well, and he gets in Marina's face and he starts like yelling at her. And she like backed off, which is bizarre because she never backs off from anybody. And for some reason, she backed off from Menard. So Garcia went for an ankle lock, and Moxley was selling it really big. And we went into break. And when we came back, crowd was like super into it. So I don't know what happened during that break, but they must have gotten into whatever was going on. And Moxley was selling like crazy. And Garcia is basically like kicking the shit out of Moxley. He hit a superplex, and he's selling the knee. Then Garcia like went to hit him with something, and he bounced off him. And Moxley's like, "Come on, come on!" Like it was almost like he was spurring him on. He hit the Nigel clothesline for 2, and then Mox hit a cutter out of nowhere. Fans actually started chanting, "Let's go, Danny!" Mox went for the Death Rider. Garcia blocked it, which almost never happens, and he put on the Canadian Maple Leaf. Mox makes the ropes. Then Mox is like limping on the outside. Garcia followed him out there. He got poked in the eye. Moxley hit a DDT on the ring steps. They teased a count out, and a fan actually helped him up and helped him get back to the ring. Back in the ring, Moxley had an arm breaker on. Garcia reversed it, put on the Dragon Tamer. Moxley grabbed him in a choke. Garcia reversed that into a pile driver for a near fall. And then Moxley just cradled him out of nowhere and got the pin. And like it was basically like Moxley escaped with his life, which you never see Moxley doing that. So I thought it was really interesting what they did here. Like Moxley was clearly trying to make Garcia in this match.
Well, I think they were trying. See, and it's weird because they're doing this almost too subtly. I think they were trying to tell the story of Moxley telling his guys to stay away from Garcia because he wants Garcia to break and do something violent to him.
Okay.
And this is the
and he wanted the Death Riders to let him do it.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
It's the Emperor and Skywalker type of thing.
Gotcha.
You know, but this is also the second or third roll up. I think didn't Fletcher beat him with a seatbelt? And he gives this blank look afterwards. Like
they're doing a lot more of these finishers too lately, like where they're like just finishes out of nowhere, not with the finishers, which I like because then you're more into the match because you know it can end at any time.
But what I'm saying is there's a pattern here. Fletcher did this to Garcia. I think Dustin Rhodes also did the quick roll up to Garcia in that in the Fatal 4-Way match at All In Texas.
Oh right,
So eventually. He's gonna snap. That's the story they're telling here, and what they're trying to say is that Moxley's trying to accelerate the snap.
So maybe it'll be like against the babyface when he actually snaps.
Might be against Nigel again.
Yeah.
But that's what's gonna happen there. And I think it's. I found Moxley funny. After the match where he's just doing the just by that much.
Yeah, because they showed him and after the match that him and Garcia were like in each other's face, but Moxley was like he was pretty civil and he was like, hey, you know.
On the outside of the ring, what he was doing was he was trying to get in there to talk to Garcia and whisper things in his ear to get him over there. And I thought it was kind of misstaged because I thought Daddy Magic should be the one shoving him away from that, and that Garcia would be because Garcia was kind of doing that. Well, I kind of want to talk to him thing, but then he'd shove him away too. It was a little messy on things.
It looked like when you said he was whispering, I thought he was kissing him, but yeah, okay, that makes more sense. He was whispering at him.
Yeah.
And Wheeler and
It
Garcia
looked like kissing at first. Admittedly,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
Wheeler and
Definitely
Garcia
different.
were like getting into it, and you recall like there's some like even backstage stuff where like at the whole time when Wheeler and Garcia were both like up and coming, like no card baby faces.
Yes.
That
Jericho
chose
got Garcia,
and
that kept him a wet bit, but Bryan Danielson wanted him.
Yeah,
in
and
the
Moxley
crew,
got
and-
Wheeler, and
Yeah.
now so they're kind of always been in the same spot, and they were kind of at each other's face. And you almost get the sense like if Moxley succeeded in getting Garcia, he might just dump Wheeler.
I thought that was going to be the story when Wheeler was being a screw up and
Yeah.
things like that, but then they went away from it too.
Yeah, just like the Statlander thing.
Mhm.
So
Oh, God.
yeah, so Moxley handed Wheeler a mic. This is actually before the stuff that happened outside the ring with Garcia and Mox. And Wheeler cuts the promo for Moxley. He says, Darby Allin, John Moxley's not going to waste his breath answering your challenge. The answer is no. And he put the mic down, and then they did all the stuff we already talked about. So back we go to break. We come back, and Wheeler's back in the ring, and he's got a mic again.
We got 2 promo segments with Wheeler Yuta.
Yep. And he says, look, I got a lot left to say, and this show won't continue until I say my piece. I live in this city. I used to do ring crew in this building as a teenager. Fans are chanting, shut the fuck up. And Wheeler, like a total pro, he says, I broke bones in this building, and this is what it got me. It got me shut the F up. It got me F you, Yuta. And you know what? It used to bother me how little y'all disrespect me. And then I realized something. I'm a Death Rider, and your cheers don't mean jack shit. What did your cheers mean for Will Ospreay? He left Forbidden Door on a stretcher. What did your cheers mean for Chuck Taylor? He's got a broken neck. And what did they do for the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson? I slayed the dragon and replaced him. And then the lights went out. And I thought for sure it was Bryan Danielson. I'm an idiot. And to say I was disappointed with what we got.
I thought it was too, but it wasn't before I made the joke, Sabu's back?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what we were supposed to think. So you thought Danielson too then? Okay, so that was what I was going to ask you. Okay, so it wasn't just me. But no, it was Hook with his god-awful new music. Oh my, what are they thinking with this music?
The music's bad. His look hasn't changed all that much.
Oh, except
his
he's wearing
demeanor
camo
hasn't
pants now.
His demeanor hasn't changed all that much.
Yeah.
It's still the same gimmick. It's just, hey, Hook's back. It's not a reintroduction. There's no new gimmick to it.
It's like
we're not even asking about that thing with the ops. Yeah. It's just,
he walks
hey.
to the ring. He takes his time, gets in the ring. Wheeler's just standing there, and he puts the choke on him. Then he let him go. Then he gave him a Superman punch. Then he posed, and that was that. Left the ring. I was like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's Hook's back.
Hey,
yeah,
because they thought, yeah, and you know what? This was something else, because I don't know if you thought this, because you fast forward through a lot of things.
Well, just the entrances.
I thought they were anticipating a chant, and they didn't get it.
What were they going to chant?
Hook, Hook, Hook,
Yeah,
Hook.
no.
Yes, I thought they
Okay.
thought the ECW arena was going to chant Hook as he walked around the ring twice to then go up the stairs, and he never got the chant. And I start to go, oh, they were anticipating something that's not there. They're not
lucky
good.
people didn't chant for Sabu. I'm surprised they didn't, honestly, because I mean that was totally a Sabu tribute. But when he mentioned Bryan Danielson and then the music, I was like, okay, maybe we're gonna get Danielson. But
yeah, I was waiting for the final countdown.
Yeah, or just like that place would have lost it if he would have come out and just kicked Wheeler's head off and posed. But yeah, it wasn't to be. And we got a tape promo from MJF in London, and this was pretty good. And he's like, is this what you want? The MJF interview, the famous MJF interview? He says, you want me to be cocky after that? All the fans know my point. I'm bleeding buckets, and you chant, you deserve it. Hangman Page is bleeding buckets, and you chant cowboy shit. You chant, you deserve it, as I'm getting this bash into my skull, and he throws the contract down. He says, I'm a generational talent, the best on the mic, best in the ring. I did you a favor, and when I see you again, trust me, boy. Or I did you a favor by releasing you. When I see you, I'm going to trust you. I'm no longer going to execute my right. Or I kind of lost it here. Tony Khan told him he no longer has the right to execute the contract whenever he wants. Says, Hangman, you want to call me a coward? I assure you there's only one man who's going to be able to take that belt from you, and it's MJF. And when I sign this contract, it won't be for a match. It's going to be for your soul. And my name is Maxwell Jacob Friedman, and I'm better than you. And once I'm done with Mark Briscoe, you'll know it. He said some stuff about Mark Briscoe in here, too, that I didn't catch down. He tried to claim that Mark Briscoe cost him the match, which didn't happen, not even close. But that's probably why I didn't write it down, because it was bullshit. But overall, it was a good promo. But they're trying to retcon us into thinking that what we saw is what you saw is what didn't happen. Or what's the wording with the Jedi mind tricks of what you see is not what you saw, or something. I don't know.
These aren't the droids you're looking for.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, but it was an intense promo. It's unlike MJF.
I sorry, I was reading something. Briscoe and the babies.
Oh, that's coming.
Well, no, but there was one where he had the baby with the conglomeration. And he handed off the baby to Kyle O'Reilly, if you recall. And now on this one, it's another baby, and he's just talking to whoever has it off camera. I'm going to say some things.
Take that baby away. Yeah,
take that baby away. Mark Briscoe needs a child as a prop for every promo. That's what I've decided.
Yeah, we get the Mark Briscoe promo coming soon. But first, we would get Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford against Harley Cameron and Kris Statlander. So on the Double or Nothing or the Forbidden Door pre-show, did you catch that Kris Statlander and the All-Star 8-woman tag?
Yes.
Kris Statlander and Willow were teammates.
Yes.
After all this, they're just teammates.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to be fair, they did tease dissension. Well, they didn't tease dissension. They flat out had dissension. But I mean, it was weird because after all that, team with me, no, blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh no, Tony just made
it's the least compelling angle in AEW.
Maybe. Yeah, I'll say it is.
Unless you count Gummy Bears versus the Young Bucks.
Oh God. So we got Harley chants at the beginning, and there wasn't much going on before the break. And after they came back, they still kind of weren't into it. But then it picked up when Statlander made her hot tag. She ran wild. They did a spot where Penelope was setting up for her, like whatever that thing is, where she does the thing across the ring. I don't know what it's called, but the thing China used to do. And she's setting up. I don't know what she's aiming at, but she ended up hitting Megan. And then Statlander and Bayne were tossing Penelope back and forth to each other. And then when Penelope tossed her to Stat, that's when Stat got hit with the stunner. So that was kind of cool. Megan was like flying all over the place, hitting these flying clotheslines. She got one for a near fall. Harley made the save. They pointed out that Harley was bleeding from the nose, even though she was wearing a mask. So hopefully she's okay. Bayne and Ford missed double moonsaults. The baby faces nailed them with thrust kick. Then the faces hit something, and Excalibur called it combination offense. Taz called it a crazy ass pendulum gimmick. And then eventually they were all down after hitting all their moves, and the crowd exploded. And then Statlander somehow secured a leg triangle. And,
you know what that was? I mean, the pendulum thing.
Yeah.
Was
crazy ass pendulum thing, trademark tag.
Well, yes. Statlander had Penelope in a belly to back. Or what? Yeah, it was Penelope. And then it looked like Harley was going to do like a 3D of some kind, but instead she runs under and she just kind of grabs the leg and flips it down, and they do and then I think Megan Bayne landed on her face.
Yeah, whatever they were trying to do, they didn't do, but it still was effective. It just wasn't exactly what they were trying to do, so it was interesting. But yeah, Statlander ended up winning with a triangle, and then immediately the heels attacked. And Willow made the save, and then there were some tense moments between Willow and Statlander. Then Harley got in between them, raised both their hands. Crowd was chanting, "Hug it out." They didn't.
This is dumb.
Yeah.
Match wasn't very good, and I'm apologist for 3 of the women in this match at various times in my Dynamite Show career. Just wasn't good. It was sloppy.
I mean, there were some good moments, but yeah.
They had ideas for set pieces, and they weren't working out. Like the tossing Penelope thing was rough.
Mm-hmm.
It was a nice little move. And I like Penelope and Megan as a unit.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, I would put Megan Bayne in the Callis family.
Yeah.
Since he has all the big guys, just putting Megan Bayne in there, standing there with that headrest and shit.
If they're going to bring in a woman, it ain't going to be Megan Bayne. I'll tell you that right now. It's going to be Bazilla. Like,
people were raving over Bazilla.
I don't.
She's okay.
I mean, put it this way: if I'm running a company, I'm signing her, but I'm not pushing her right away. Like, she's not ready. But
I'm running a company. I'm asking Megan Bayne to see if she can get out of her contract.
Well, there's that. Yeah, because she is ready. Like, she could be feuding with Rhea Ripley right now.
She just had. Yes, she has such a presence. I'm just like, God.
Yeah. She should be the one, like, with Tony, and she should probably beat Tony, honestly. And then, Tony can chase her, and that could be like a big money match down the road, her getting the title back from Megan.
Right.
So we go to break, we come back, and Renee is hosting the Mercedes Championship celebration. And I was going to ask you something, and I'm not going to ask you on air, but I'll just point out she was wearing a black jacket. And the crowd... You may know what I was going to ask you.
I think I do, but I can ask you on air. I mean, is this the Hogan thing?
No.
Okay, never mind. It was something they were comparing her gear on Saturday.
No, there's something I actually noticed it a couple weeks ago, and
all right, we'll continue, and you can ask me later.
Yeah. So the crowd was chanting CEO, and she said, "Philly, say hello to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5." And she counts all her belts. Renee's counting with her. And she said, and then Renee says, "Let's talk about your historic week in the UK." She says, "You had a successful Dynamite where you got wins over Tony Storm and Alex Windsor, the 6-person match at Rev Pro. Then the next night at Rev Pro, you won your 9th championship, and then you retained your TBS championship in a 4-way of all things. And so what do you feel?" And she says, "What do I feel? I'm the greatest of all time. That's right. I'm a history maker, a record breaker. But before you ask me what's next, Ultimo Dragon had 10 titles, and I'm going to smash that record. So to any woman out there with a title, I'm coming for you, and you're going to love the taste of Moné." And then she said, "I'd be remiss if you didn't mention Alex Windsor, and Alex Windsor nearly tapped you out." And then Moné takes offense to that. She says, "Are you stupid or are you dumb? I was not legal. I wasn't tapping out. I was swatting away a bug. I do not care about this Alex Windsor. Alex Windsor has it out for me." You like that?
I did. I was waiting for it. I knew it was coming too. Yeah. That's the thing.
Just wait. There's another one of those coming later. "I'm a better Rev Pro champion than she ever was. Maybe it's because I was dancing all over her man. William, I love it when you do the CEO dance. Alex Windsor wants to ride the Moné train again. Well, she'll be in a hospital right next to her husband. I'm 9 belts Moné, and it's time to celebrate." And then she danced, and I'm waiting. Somebody's going to come on and challenge her. Nope. That's it. I thought for sure some champion from somewhere that I'd forgotten about was going to show up, but no. But that seems to be the direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the person who said they need to form this company around Mercedes at one point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I love or I hate this kind of vapid interview by Mercedes, because it's never gotten past this point to me. This is the same CEO as the beginning of the CEO gimmick.
Kind of, yeah.
And I've watched this, and I didn't like this promo, Paul.
Okay.
It's one of these things where it's like, it's a very almost WWE like gimmick in terms of, I just want to come out here and dance. Like, you're a heel. Cut a heel promo. Do a little bit more. Have losses affect her a little bit. Wins can affect her too, but losses need to affect her as well. And this is I'm just no selling every loss, and I'm the CEO, and I'm going to dance, and I'm going to say the name of the town I'm in. And I'm just watching this. I'm waiting for another gear here, Jennifer Pepperman, and it ain't coming.
I don't know if Renee's being basically like her cheerleader helps either.
Yeah.
It's unique and it's one of those things where like you have the babyface announcer that is actually like siding with the heel, but just the one heel. So it's unique and obviously they're friends and they've been friends for years. They go back to NXT. So, but yeah, it's interesting. Then we go and Excalibur says that we sent our cameras to Sandy Fork, Delaware, and I was excited. So. It's Mark Briscoe, of course, and he says, Philly, what's going on, baby? You know this building is extremely important to the history of the Briscoes. This is where it all started. I promise I got a good reason why I wasn't able to make it up there. And then he brings in baby Mac Briscoe, the latest member of the crew. And he says, but I got something to say, and it's not suitable for such pure infant ears.
This is the best.
Yeah, so he hands the baby
I was kind of hoping Satnam Singh would come in and take the baby.
Oh God, that would be something. And he says, and actually he didn't even say anything that bad. He's like, MJF, it's been 1 week since you threatened to set me on fire.
No. What made the gimmick was the look he gave whoever the off-camera person was about what he was about to say.
Yeah.
You take this baby away.
Yeah, get this baby out of here. So he's like, MJF, it's been 1 week since you threatened to set me on fire. Well, I'm going to take all your hopes, dreams, and aspirations and set them on fire. I made sure you didn't pick up that fluke win against Adam Page like you did on Dynamite 2 weeks ago against me. So next time I see you, I'm going to light your ass up. You said I can't win the big one. Well, that takes me to another nemesis of mine, TNT champion Kyle Fletcher. I heard a couple weeks ago your name came out of my mouth. Well, we had a hell of a rivalry, 2 wins each. Well, let me make it a plain and simple, Kyle Fletcher. I'm challenging you for the TNT title. We're going to be in Philly here for a little while, so I can make it down there before we leave. So, Kyle, are you going to man up? And that was that. And then the fans chanted man up, and that was that. All right. Anything to add? Did I miss anything? I don't think I did.
No, but it's such a weird pivot. I'm gonna go.
It was
right
very
back
sudden.
to Kyle Fletcher. It's like, all right, cool.
I guess they're building a match for like 3 weeks from now. Probably the last week they're in Philadelphia, so that's good.
Yeah,
I like that. They can.
You belt him?
No. I told you what my plan would be. He's beating MJF for that ring. They used the ring again on Saturday.
Yes.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. He's gonna win that ring. He's probably gonna shove it up MJF's ass when he's done.
No, but there was a part of me that goes, well, maybe if they want Fletcher to go after Hangman.
Oh yeah. I mean, you could. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean,
I think he should as the TNT champion, saying, "Hey, this is the second most important title in this company." Maybe ruffling a few feathers of Okada over here by saying that or something.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, I mean, trust me, I would not complain if they did it. I'm just not expecting it. So Justin Roberts was out there to do the intros for the next match, which was the All-Star 8-man tag. But before he can get a word out, Vicky Guerrero's except it's not Vicky Guerrero. It's Don
I thought
Callis.
the same thing. Yes.
Yeah. Excuse me. And he says, and Wardlow is out with Don Callis, and he says, "Quiete, cabrone, la cuidada de Philadelphia, e muy ignorante. It's my great pleasure to introduce to you from Monterrey, es muy guapa, yo soy hechicero." It's like Wardlow is trying to keep a straight face, like as he's doing this. I gotta tell you, like my daughter hates AEW. She won't watch it, but she kills herself laughing whenever Don Callis does this intro. She loves it.
I think it's fantastic. I think it makes Hechicero seem like a big deal too.
It does. And he's like, he's gonna pop a blood vessel at some point, like when he's doing this. Because what I did was like 1/10 of what Don Callis did. Like it's amazing. But yeah, so he introduces him, and then everybody else comes out. And Justin, I'm sure, introduced them. I hit the fast forward button 4 times. And it was Okada, Hechicero, Josh Alexander, and Takeshita. I mean, this is like almost their A team against Jet Speed and Brodido. And Callis joined the team for commentary. They're plugging the ROH title match on Friday, like they should. Callis said he had Bandito's number. And Okada and Takeshita at one point tagged in at the same time, and they got into each other's face. Ian says Takeshita won the G1, and Okada is the greatest tournament champion of all time. So I actually think that the reason Don Callis hasn't mentioned that Takeshita won the G1 is on purpose, because he doesn't want to offend Okada, because Okada is his meal ticket and Takeshita is like his backup, in Callis's mind, because Callis, Callis has a pecking order, whether or not that's the actual pecking order, but the character of Don Callis has a favorite, and he has a second favorite, and actually Kyle Fletcher is probably his favorite. But anyways, Brody, as they were like staring at each other, took him out with a clothesline. And then so they went through a break. Crowd was like super hot, like when they came back. Kevin Knight made a hot tag. He ran wild. Then everyone came in and they all did their moves. And it finished off with Brody hitting a rolling elbow on Hechicero. Then they hit each other with flying cross bodies. And at that point, the fans gave them all a standing O. Speedball and Takeshita were legal men. Takeshita got the best of him for a little while. Then Bailey hit his double knees. All the heels broke it up, like all of them at the same time. So they're back on the same page now. Then they all hit moves on Speedball. Ended up with Takeshita in there with Bailey, hit him with a lariat. And Okada was not pleased because he was about to hit something, and Takeshita just kind of pushed him away. Then Takeshita tagged in Josh Alexander, and then he hit a dive after making a tag onto all the baby faces. Then Bailey rolled up Alexander for 2. Okada came in. Kevin Knight took him out. Bailey hit a thrust kick and a Hurricane Rana on Alexander, went to the top rope, but he missed a shooting star press, and Josh Alexander rolled him up for the win. So, I mean, Josh got a win. A guy missed a move, and it cost him the match. Like, there was just so much good stuff in there. And yeah, I thought this match was really good. I mean, other than the main event, it was the best thing on the show, like in terms of matches, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the party match.
It's interesting. They go, yeah, they had the A team here, because in the next segment, it's definitely the B team of the Don Callis family coming out for the world champion, which is a bit of a problem, I thought. But okay.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because
it does give them an excuse of, they were tired from the match, so they didn't come out, except for Josh Alexander, who was running on adrenaline.
I wanted to do something here. Our background changes for a second. You're still there? Hang on. Oh, wait a minute.
I was backstage. It kicked me out of the room.
Sorry, I was gonna try to do something. It probably wouldn't have worked. So, anyways, I gotta figure it out for next time.
What she said.
Do you listen to the Fight Game podcast?
Yes, I do.
I was gonna try to do that thing that Garrett has with the boom, 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 the party match thing, but I couldn't find the file.
We'll get a soundboard for you, Paul. You can do all your wacky morning DJ stuff if you want.
All right. The only one I got is this one.
Hi, Jeff. It is I.
I popped Jeff. That was worth it.
Yeah.
So that was fun. And and as you said, we'll get into this promo right away. But yeah, it was like you're wondering who's next, and then it was like all the Rocky.
Romero.
Did you catch on when Dave was recapping the pre-show, and he's like, Rocky Romero got pinned. It's always
Rocky. Yeah.
And then Rocky wasn't actually in the match.
Yeah.
It was actually Leo Rush that got pinned. It's always Leo. It actually is always Leo. Anyways, we go to break. We come back. Hangman's in the ring for a promo. Fans chanting cowboy shit. He says, before I say anything, I do want to say something to Will Ospreay. Thank you for everything you've done for me this year and everything you've done for AEW. and the fans start chanting, and it took them a little while because they were trying to figure out which Will Ospreay chant they wanted to do, and they finally settled on Ospreay, 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 and Hangman waited until they got their shit together. And then he says, I genuinely am sorry for how everything has turned out for you since All In. I try to make a habit of not speaking for other people, but while you're all gone, every single one of us is going to miss you. So recover, heal up, and when the time is right, you can do what you're the best at. And when you come back, you can come back and challenge me for this world championship. He didn't say men's world championship. It was interesting because he usually does. He says, now about this championship. Sunday at Forbidden Door, Maxwell Jacob Friedman had a shot at this. MJF had a shot at this, and he failed. He's like screamed out the word failed. He says, Max, you threw everything you had at me, every trick in the book, and you still failed. And I want you to remember that. Now, after everything you've done in the last week, you have to give a 7-day notice before you challenge for this again. And that doesn't matter to me, Max, because if you ever find it in yourself to sign that contract, I'll beat your ass before the ink is dry on that contract. That was good promo from him, I thought.
It was, but it's not criticism of the promo. Promo's fine. It's just odd that nobody's angry at the Death Riders and Gabe Kidd for what they did to Will Ospreay. You know?
Yeah. Like I mean, as I told you
last week, but this also goes part and parcel to my theme of making a star. If, say, Hangman was becoming Wyatt Earp on the ride against the Cowboys, you know, here, and okay, we're taking all these guys out who took our boy out. If he had gotten a little bit, because like whenever somebody, and look, this is going through my own realm of wrestling I watched as a child and stuff like that. If this had been Dusty Rhodes coming out and Magnum was put out, or Sam Houston, or Manny Fernandez, or whoever you want,
Sting.
Dusty would be Sting. Dusty would be Barry Windham.
Yeah.
That'd be a better thing. Yeah, if Barry Windham gets put out, Dusty's coming out as the champ and going, I'm praying for you, baby. Come on back soon, whatever. But let me tell you something. Yeah, and then he'd go into it.
Yeah.
Horseman, Arn Anderson, whatever. He'd be going into it, and he'd be spitting fire, and he'd be the one saying, I'm the one getting vengeance for this. And then we'd all kind of be on the edge of our seat going, oh, shit, here he comes. Here comes the world champion. And it also plays into what comes next in this entire thing. So now you can
I ask you something then, Jeff?
Sure.
Why couldn't the Callis family have been the one that put out Ospreay? That would have made so much more sense.
I would have loved that. Like let's say the Death Riders are done, and then the Callis family comes in and lets himself in the cage and kills them. You get two different things. You get the Death Riders off the stage a little bit, but yes, they have this entire angle, and it would put everything where it needed to be.
Not only that, but if you recall, and it was almost like they set it up, because Callis, when he was on commentary, I think it was during the Kyle Fletcher match, he was talking about how we've taken out this guy, we've taken out that guy, we're removing pieces from the chessboard, I think was the line he used. It would have made perfect sense for the Callis family to show up and take out Will Ospreay.
Yeah, because the Death Riders' heat is already low after
and you've
losing the match. And
you could do the Darby Mox match off of this cage match because they threw him off the cage, right? Didn't Gabe Kidd throw him off the cage or something?
No, he and Gabe Kidd both jumped off the cage, it was Darby basically sacrificing himself to get Gabe Kidd through that table.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. So they went through together, but yeah, like I just thought hindsight's 20/20, but if the Callis family had been the one, then this would make a lot more sense. What happened next?
Yes.
So outcome, but it was good anyways, because I mean, Hangman's great and Don Callis is great, so they made it work. But I thought it would have had a little bit more emotion behind it if we would.
Here comes Horace Hogan and Stevie Ray and
Well, out comes Don Callis first. He says, I have something important to say to the champ. Hangman, you and I have a long history. And I'm thinking, like, really? And he's like, you won your first world title from me. The only reason you took it from me is because I had a weakling defending against you. And of course, that was Kenny Omega, for those of you that weren't watching at the time. He says, I'm here to tell you, man to man, I want that title back in the Don Callis family. And Hangman, you don't get to decide who you're going to wrestle. There's a whole locker room who wants that title. And I know, because I have half of them under contract. So it's not a question of if the Don Callis family gets your belt. It's which one of my members is going to take it from you. And then I wrote down most of them come out. And then I quickly realized that exactly what you said. It was the B team. It was not even Wardlow. It was like Rocky.
Archer, Rocky.
Josh Alexander. And Hechicero.
Hechicero, who's...
Yeah. He's kind of the middle.
Yes.
He's like the...
like if Trent had come out, this would have been pure B team.
Oh. Well,
Mark Davis.
Well, okay, so Mark is out.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know what's going on with Trent. He might be.
I think Trent's out too. I think he's injured again.
Oh, that's too bad for Trent. But yeah, so and even Wardlow wasn't out there. So I guess Wardlow is above Hechicero in the Don Callis family pecking order. So yeah, there's no Takeshita, no Wardlow, no Okada, no Trent. So they're all out there, and they swarm Hangman, and Hangman takes the fight to the heels because he's a great baby face. And eventually they got the better of him. So Knight and Bailey, Jet Speed, come out to make the save. Callis gave Rocky a steel baton. He took out Mike Bailey's knee. Now it's 5-on-3 if you count Ted Callis. And Kenny Omega's music hits, and he walks out.
No, it's even worse. Rocky hits Mike Bailey in the stomach with the baton. Okay, and then later, Mike Bailey is running full speed, doing flippy doos.
Well, it's Mike Bailey. So yeah, Kenny walked out, and he's wearing a jeans and no shirt. He went into the ring, took out Hechicero with a V-trigger, hit a snap suplex on Rocky, another one on Josh Alexander, got the baton. Archer went for a choke slam. Omega hit him with the baton. And then it's like 4-on-1 baby faces in there against Archer, and they eventually get him out of the ring. Hangman, or the Jet Speed did the dives. That's what you're talking about when they did the running dives, and Bailey was supposed to be hurt. And then Hangman and Omega hit a combo buckshot V-trigger, which was their move when they were tag team champions. And they got rid of Archer, and then they shook hands and hugged. So by the time this was all over, I'm wondering, okay, who's next? And my first thought was, okay, it's going to be one of the Callis family. But then it dawned on me. I think what they're going to do is they're going to have a match where it's going to be one of the Callis family against Omega in an eliminator match. And I think Omega is going to win. And it's actually going to be Omega and Hangman at All Out. That's my prediction. Because they're in Canada. So Omega challenging for the title would be big. And then maybe the Callis family ends up doing something and ends up like, I don't know if they cost Omega the match, but they screw up the match in some way. And Omega and Hangman are still friends after the match. That's what I think is going to happen. And then he can go through the Callis family for the next, till like Revolution.
I didn't mind the segment. Let's put it that way. But I did have a lingering question. It's one of those questions that's stuck in the back of my mind as I'm watching the rest of the show, and I can't concentrate on because this question's in the back of my mind. Was it a mistake to have Omega save Hangman versus having and I'm not saying we're doing an apples to apples segment here, but shouldn't Hangman have saved Omega from something?
First, you mean?
To be the bigger star.
Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah.
Because it seems to me that all the shine went to Omega in this segment as opposed to the shine going on Hangman. And I just thought that there was I know the thought. The thought is, okay, Omega gives Hangman the rub and everybody likes it, whatever. But if you really want him to break out into that his own man type of thing, you have Hangman save Omega in some ways. That was the other half of the equation for making Hangman a bigger star. But if we're gonna do that on this show a little bit. So it was just kind of like I'm watching this going, do they have this backwards? Because it seems to me that they're pushing Omega as a bigger deal over their champion, which I didn't like necessarily.
Okay, I can see that. Jason
Okay.
has a suggestion here, and I assume he's talking like if they go with my idea of Omega and Hangman, said they can run the Savage Warrior angle for SummerSlam 92 and have Callis be, basically promising to be in one of their corners when in fact neither one of them is actually with Callis, but Callis is trying to put doubt in both their heads. It could be interesting.
I could go for a pure squash with Josh Alexander too.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you could do that. Yeah, you could, or the other thing I was thinking was maybe
like just a murder death, not even a match. And I love Josh Alexander, but just hit him, buckshot lariat, 1, 2, 3.
Maybe you
Callis is pissed.
Maybe you do some sort of a gauntlet match on one of these Dynamites, where Omega
they're going to do it next week. Probably they're going to
run through the
Callis family.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But then that would do exactly what you were just saying, is presenting him as the bigger star.
Correct.
So, Lady B thinks Hangman and Wardlow at all. I mean, you could definitely do that. I honestly, when he returned, that was my immediate thought. I thought, oh, okay, he's challenging Hangman next, but I wasn't the sense
you give him one win, against like Mike. Give him Mike Bailey first. Let him kill Mike Bailey.
Who, Wardlow?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and I had suggested on the show with Garrett my idea, because he was talking about what marquee matches could you put on All Out to compete with WWE, and I was like, bring back Goldberg and do Goldberg Wardlow. That would steal some headlines from WWE if you did that, and
then allow him to do a retirement speech.
Sure, why not? It's like after he gets squashed by Wardlow. Yeah. So then, I didn't even. Oh, you know what?
What did you miss?
No, I got it. Okay. No, I just missed Hangman's promo. He says, I'll be honest, I'm no dumbass. I'll see how this is going to go. That was the part I missed when I was recapping what happened. So yeah, that was that. It was pretty good, I thought. Then we got a confusing promo that I didn't even really understand what was going on, because it was a Mina and Tony promo. And she says, I'm a woman in search of my mother. At Forbidden Door, I found myself unbeatable. And she says, my girlfriend is coming for the leftovers. And that was Mina she's talking about. And she said, this is the love bum, Mina Shirakawa, and she's going to leave you just like I did. Then Mina slapped her. Tony said, my God, I'm back. Throughout this, Athena's voice is talking. And so I guess Athena's watching this promo, and she's commenting on it. So she says, I'm going to become ROH Women's Champion, and Mina said, I'm going to become Ring of Honor Women's Champion, and I'm going to dance on top of this arena. And Athena says, you want to dance on top of the arena? Well, how about I throw you off the arena so hard it'll make the blue meanie quiver? And then Tony said something about the Sandman and his penis. And then Mina says, you don't want Mina. And then they both put up their hands for FU.
You know what the dancing on top of the arena is?
Oh, yeah. Kimono
Wanalea.
Yeah. Tony's going to bring up Kimono Wanalea about 10 times in the next 3 weeks. I think. Maybe they'll even bring
Kimono may come in for a one shot. Yeah.
I was going to say, is she around? Like, they'll probably bring in.
She's around, not in the business, but
they'll get Francine if they can. So Matt says normally it's pretty clear where they're going for pay-per-view main events. Zero idea what the all-out main event will be. Okada, Adam Page, Takeshita, Adam Page. Maybe it will really be Omega. I think it's going to be Omega, but the main event, I mean, it might actually be Darby and Mox, which again would go to what Jeff is talking about with Hangman. Like if Mox again is the main event over Hangman, like what is that telling you about Hangman?
I think they main event with the Cope and Christian thing with the stipulation.
Yeah, what would like retirement
street
match?
Fight, something like that. It becomes a walk-in brawl.
Yeah. Losers can never team again.
Maybe, yeah.
You could do that. That'd be interesting. I
think they're gonna want that moment where they win.
It could be the main event though, because again, I think if you ask Tony, he would think that they're the biggest stars on this particular show. Christian
Yes.
and Cope. And the fact that they're teaming up again is the biggest thing on this show. So whether or not that's true, I think that that's what Tony would think. And it might be true. Don't get me wrong. I think we were having this discussion in the Discord, and it was based on a conversation I think Garrett and Dave were having on Wrestling Observer last week. And they were saying like who the most famous person in AEW is. And they were saying it's Jericho right now until he leaves. But then it was like, and then I think he said, well, Garrett, and then it's Moxley is next. And I'm like, no way. Or Copeland is way bigger name than anybody else currently in AEW, I think, in terms of mainstream popularity. I agree with this, Matt. It might churn a large percentage of the AEW audience off if you put Copeland and Christian as the last match.
I don't think Tony cares because Christian's his favorite wrestler.
Right. And Copeland is a big star. So, I mean, but I agree that you might piss some people off. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. And yeah, I want to know what I think I might have to go back and watch that promo again to find out what she was talking about with Sandman and his penis. Okay, so we come back.
Really interested in the penis, are you there, Paul?
I am, yeah. Okay. Ricochet and the Gates of Agony against the Ops in a trios title match. It's so weird. Every time the Ops wrestle, they announce it last minute, and sometimes for the title and sometimes it's not, but it doesn't matter because they always win. So they went through a break. You know what? Something happened with my notes here because I'm like, I was, because I type as I'm writing, and I looked down and like all of a sudden I was on the wrong page. So I'm just going to try to remember what happened here. Like Shibata was in the ring for almost the whole match.
Yes.
And he's selling, and he did a chop fest with Bishop Khan, and his chest was all red. They ended up going through a break. When they came back, Shibata was still in there. And they mentioned here that Collision was on Saturday, but they didn't announce any matches. Joe finally made the hot tag. He ran wild on Ricochet, got a near fall off a senton. Leona made the save. Gates of Agony took Joe out. Hobbs ran in, did all his stuff. Then everyone did all their spots. Ricochet was last in, hit a springboard on Joe and a running SSP. Shibata made the save. And then eventually Ricochet went to the top rope, and he was going to hit something. And MVP knocked him off the top rope with the cane. So yeah, he came in out of nowhere, and then Joe grabbed Ricochet, choked him out, and that was that. I think it was him he choked out. Might have been Leona. I wrote down Leona, but I feel like it was Ricochet. But anyways, yeah, that was that. And then after the match, the camera was following the Ops to the back, and Gates of Agony were in the ring with Ricochet. And this is what I was talking about earlier, because they both were leaving and exiting out the same doors. They had to do this. And then while they were in the ring, the Hurt Syndicate's music hit. And then fans started chanting, "We hurt people," and then they brawled all the way to the back. So I guess Hurt Syndicate's going to be the baby faces in this feud. But that was that. It was quick, painless. This is good. Excuse me.
Were you surprised at MVP coming out?
Yes.
/ Hurt Syndicate coming out? So was I.
I was more surprised at MVP than the Hurt Syndicate.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I thought for sure that match, the gimmick's done. They're gone. They're sitting on the sidelines or whatever until November.
Well, I mean, they did the angle to set it up.
Yeah, but still, but that's how they wrote it off wrote them off in the match too. Was they came back and they got their revenge, which, that's kind of the end of it. But now they're gonna get another match.
I think I might have said last week on here, it might have been you, one of us, maybe both of us, said that maybe we thought that they only had a year, and then like it's come out, they might have more time than we thought. Shelton for sure signed a 3-year contract. That I know. I don't know about MVP and or Bobby. But I know Shelton signed a 3-year contract.
I was still waiting for Lashley to come out to be Hangman's first opponent.
Yeah, and clearly that's not going to happen. Like clearly we're doing a Gates of Agony Hurt Syndicate match.
Right. And but that also tracks with what Tony thinks too.
Yeah.
Like Tony's not going to mess around with this AEW versus WWE stuff. He wants his work rate matches and his snowflake ratings and stuff. That's
what I think. Like, and and I know that people are saying, "Oh no, you got to fight, you got to put on your big match." And I think Tony thinks, "No, you know what? I'm doing good stuff right now, and we're just going to keep going the way we're going." So,
The wrestling people like it.
The wrestling people like it, except when they don't. Last week they didn't.
You know what? You've convinced me. It's gonna be Omega.
Okay. Well, that'd be good.
I think
that's a dream match in a way.
That's September 20th, though. That's man. You got
a month away.
Quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
3 weeks. 3 weeks. We got all these Philly shows to build it up. Okay, and the main event was Claudio and Darby in a Falls Count Anywhere match, and they started...
Hold on. Claudio's in another main event on AEW.
He is, but it's also Darby Allin's return to Dynamite, and he's a big star.
No, I got that, but I halfway through the match, I go, have I seen Darby and Claudio as a main event in the last 3 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever? Because it feels like it, but it's not.
No, because you haven't seen Darby on Dynamite in like 6 months or longer. Since he got thrown down the flight of stairs, and then went and climbed Mount Everest. So yeah, it's funny because they show Claudio, he's starting to make his entrance. So of course, you know me, I hit the fast forward button, and that was a mistake because
this is creative. I liked this a lot.
So I had to back up, and Darby flew in out of nowhere off the top of something, and that was that. The match was on, and so the beginning, they're fighting backstage, and this was shot badly because you saw a bunch of people in the background just like staring at their phones and like, they're just kind of sitting around and not doing anything. And meanwhile, like they should have been like, you should have had extras back there, just like, go, like that. And no, instead it was just like, I mean, it was probably more realistic, but it didn't make for the best atmosphere. But eventually they went. Claudio set up a big screen TV as like a bridge and slammed Darby onto it. Then he literally dragged him by his feet into the building, did a giant swing, knocked him into a barricade, tossed him back in the ring. And then Darby just magically got up, hit a tope outside the ring. Claudio took over. He climbed up a pillar, did a coffin drop from like 20 feet for a near fall. We got a holy shit chance. I think at this point, we're like 3 minutes into the match. The replay shows that when he fell off this, whatever this was, he just bounced off of Claudio. And he was right back up, rolled him back in the ring. Claudio hit the flying uppercut for 2. And then Claudio said, like, he warned the announcers to get out of the way. So they all bailed and we got no sound for a bit. And then Claudio picked up Darby over his head, threw him into the announce table. Darby bounces off the announce table onto the floor. He's in the dead man's pose. They showed like 4 replays of it from different angles. Every one of them looked sick. Like this was just crazy. Then they go to break. They come back. Darby's fine. He's like brawling outside the ring. It's like, wow, this guy is amazing. So Claudio set up some tables in the corner, beats on Darby with a chair. Darby grabbed him with a choke. Claudio reversed the choke, tried a suplex, but then Darby jumped on his back. Claudio kept teasing like he was going to back up Darby through the table, but then he just threw him off. And then he did tried to run into Darby, but Darby got out of the way and he ran right into a table. Now they're both down. Darby gets up, starts beating him with a chair. He's going to Pillmanize his neck, but then Claudio springed up, hit the uppercut. Then he nailed Darby with a chair, set up chairs in the middle of the ring. Hit a gut wrench from the top into the chairs by Claudio. Darby kicked out. Claudio tossed Darby into a table. And again, he bounced off the table. So then he picks him up and he power bombs him through it. This guy, like, I don't know how he's alive. Then they announced just randomly, next week, another all-star 8-man tag. And it's Jet Speed, Omega, and Hangman against Kyle Fletcher, Josh Alexander, and the Young Bucks of all teams. So I assume out of that, we're going to get Jet Speed and the Young Bucks and probably Kenny and Hangman. And then they again announced that Collision on Saturday is going to be at the regular time, but they didn't announce a single damn thing for it. And I don't even know if that's live or taped. I'm not even sure. I assume they'd be running tomorrow because of the WWE pay-per-view, but I guess not. Then Darby hit a double stomp off the top. He raked the eye, rolled up Claudio for 2, did a drop toe hold onto an exposed turnbuckle, hit a code red for 2. Then he hit a coffin drop. Then he hit another coffin drop, and he got the pin. And pretty like definitive win by the end there. even though Claudio beat his ass for most of the match. Like the last like couple minutes, like Darby just wore this guy down and beat him. So yeah.
I would have liked to see a little bit more of a struggle out of Darby before like getting like almost enraged and then breaking Claudio. I think that's the story they probably should have told, but I liked the match. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, I it was like wild. I thought this was actually going to be the pay-per-view match, so I assume we're going to get something even wilder with Darby and Mox at the pay-per-view.
Oh God, somebody might actually die in that match,
and that's
crazy.
Somebody might be Darby Allin.
Yeah.
So after the match, Gabe Kidd shows up in a hoodie and he attacked Darby, and then out came Mox and Marina. The fans out of nowhere started chanting for Eddie. So at this point, I was wondering, was there some rumors about Eddie Kingston that I didn't know about? And I guess not, because he didn't show up. Then Darby escaped Gabe, went after Mox, threw Gabe into him, and he took off through the crowd. Gabe chased after him. Darby ended up going outside, and I guess Gabe couldn't get the door open. I don't know, but he lost him. And Moxley and Claudio were left in the ring. Darby's music's playing. Gabe, they kept cutting back to Gabe. He was like throwing stuff around backstage and he was pissed off. And Mox actually left the ring and left Claudio there. So I don't know if like that was Moxley basically telling Claudio, like, you fucked up and this is my new guy. That's what I got out of it, but I don't know if maybe I'm reading too much into it, but he left Claudio like alone in the ring, beaten, and went and hung out with his new buddy Gabe.
I want Gabe Kidd to get a look refresh.
You know who he looks like?
He looks like Orny Lorcan.
I was thinking Zach Gibson, but okay.
That too.
Yeah.
Well, no, Zach Gibson's tall and looks,
he's beefier than Zach Gibson. Yeah, Orny Lorcan's probably a better call. Yeah, but
I can't remember Orny Lorcan's indie name.
I think he thinks he looks like Stone Cold, but he doesn't. And he
and he does Biff Busick. That's the name I was thinking of.
Yeah. Same guy.
Yeah, no, but I couldn't remember the name that I remembered him as. I could only remember his WWE name. It was pisses me off, to be honest. Yeah, it's the black trunks, plain, kind of a not a bad body, but it ain't muscular. It has a bit of body hair. He's bald. He has a goatee. Yeah, he looks like Oni Lorcan. I just need him to look. Get some, be the hitman, be the mercenary or whatever. Come out looking in a mercenary outfit, something, man.
Maybe if you shave the beard and tried to go for like the Jason Statham look, like a buzz cut, no beard, and
maybe
like a silent assassin kind of killer.
Play with it a bit, see what you can do with it. Just change your look, man. That's all.
Maria thinks maybe Claudio and Yuta are out and Gabe and Danny are in. That could be.
Could be. I mean, Claudio. Yeah. I think Claudio's a much better babyface than he is a heel. Because his offense means nothing as a heel.
Well, and the thing is, and the fans pop for his offense as a heel. So that would be great. And him doing like stuff like that to like a Rocky or something, like he could actually get a run as a babyface, like a TNT champion or something like that.
Put Matthew's question up.
Does sports need audio commentary? Watching so much Japanese wrestling makes me think no. I think it detracts far more often than it helps.
When you have really good commentary, you don't notice it. When it's really bad commentary, you do notice it. I think really good commentary helps. I think the first few times I listened to New Japan with just the Japanese commentary when they get excited helped me. But I think overall, audio commentary needs to be locked in on what's going on as opposed to trying to pop each other. That's the problem.
Yes.
With it. And there's too much of that in all sports, not just professional wrestling. It's just you need to be locked in on the game or whatever you're watching and calling, as opposed to what catchphrase can I think of? Ooh, if they hit this last second shot, how can I make it memorable or whatever?
Yeah, like they've got that call like queued up.
Jim Nance has his calls queued up and stuff like that, so that's bad. But like
when you watch
Taz is terrible on this, and I don't even like Ian Riccoboni all that much either. I don't think he's bringing much to the table on commentary or anything.
Walker Stewart is awesome.
I liked him.
Yeah, and I watched the G1, and the thing is with Walker, not only is he telling you what's going on in the ring, he is also like, I don't even think he knows where the stories are going a lot of the times, but that's
usually better because then you get a real reaction out of what's going on.
And he's telling you the story as he believes it is, and he's telling you situations. So I think yes, does sports need audio commentary? Yes, but it needs good audio commentary.
Yes.
Bad audio commentary, yeah, you might as well not even have it. I think for and you said sports, I think like for baseball, I think that the reason you like to have it is because honestly, baseball is kind of boring.
Baseball has a lot of dead time. It does. And the guys that were good can't. I mean, the last real great was Euchre, and he died last year. But I mean, him and Vin could carry a broadcast by themselves just by telling stories and stuff. There's too much. Like you listen to baseball commentary now, there's too much blah 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 blah, just garbage that they're talking about.
We have actually good commentators here in Toronto. We got Dan Schulman and Buck Martinez.
Schulman's fantastic. I like him on ESPN broadcast.
Yeah,
so
he does basketball as well. Walker Stewart and Chris Charlton are so far ahead of wrestling commentary teams. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Danielson was awesome on the pay-per-view and last week on Dynamite, and I think him with Excalibur would be a good team. Him and Shivani would actually probably be pretty good too.
I do like the Nigel Tony, like doing the old school Gorilla Bobby Heenan stuff. In general, I don't like the straight play-by-play with heel announcer twirling the mustache type thing. I've never liked that. My favorite wrestling, oddly enough, that was early Jim Ross when he came over from UWF and Shivani, calling it like a sport in that first.
Actually, mine was Jim Ross and Jesse.
Okay,
but right behind that would have been actually Vince and Jesse, like because that was like my first and again you got to remember like I'm coming from AWA,
and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, Jesse could do it, but Jesse knew when to back off too,
and Vince knew exactly where the stories were going. Right. So yeah, he's not calling the action; he's telling the story.
He's telling the stories, correct?
And the thing is, and the difference between wrestling commentary and regular sports commentary is in regular sports, you actually do probably want the announcers calling what's going on. In wrestling, you don't necessarily need someone screaming out, "Oh, that was a Hurricane Rana. Oh, that was a tope," but you need them to tell the story of the match. And too many times, like you said, an Excalibur and a Taz and even Shivani at times are trying to pop themselves and we won't even bother with WWE.
And Excalibur's not giving a narrative flow to the match usually either. He's not saying, look, he's working on the knee right now, and once you work down that knee, the rest of the body will go, etc. Like they used to do when they were trying to sell you in the territory days that this was a real sport. They'd tell you, this is why he's stomping on the knee because then it loses the
And that's what Danielson. That's what Danielson was doing. He's giving you the science behind what you're seeing,
right?
And and then when he left for Jim Ross, it lost something. But Jim Ross actually, like in small doses, is still really good.
No, I'm sorry, so? Jim Ross was just saying things to say things.
Okay,
Saturday.
He's been worse.
I'm not saying he was at his worst.
Okay.
Trust me.
Okay.
We've watched shows where he was at his worst.
Yeah, he's a little too much into the what is
talent
the
talent
no,
relation.
the mule drinks. What is it that he drinks? He's mentioned it, so it's not just me. Like
Moscow Mules, right?
Moscow Mules, yeah. All right, so that was that. I liked the show. I thought it was really good. I like that we have 2 matches already for All Out. It'd be nice if we had a world title match. And in both cases, like I have no idea where the women's title is going either, like either one. So I want some clarification on that within the next week or two. And again, so I think for Tony, even though I did a show with Garrett where we spent like 20 minutes talking about how Tony can load up the card to compete with WWE, I actually kind of am on the Tony side of just do your show, put on a good show, and see what happens. Like don't even worry about WWE. Just do your show. And yeah, maybe you're going to lose 25,000 buys because Brock Lesnar and John Cena are wrestling for free. But what's 25,000 buys? Like,
I would agree with that, but I think he needs to have more faith in his talent to go out there and plug people in the media. And I know that these are, I don't really like going out there and doing that. Dude, that's part of the act, man. You got to go out there.
Copeland's going to be all over the place.
Cope's good at it. Mark Briscoe's good at it, but you need your champion to be out there doing it too.
Hangman's not bad at it. I've seen Hangman do, like, Hangman's a really likable guy. So if you can get him on some of these morning shows, especially in Canada, like if you can get him all over like Sports Center that we have here, Sportsnet.
You could put Tony out there as long as she's not in character, I think. I think her being in character would be a turnoff.
Mercedes is good at times.
Mercedes is really good when she's kind of backed off the CEO character and she's just being her. She is really good at this stuff, but and
Tony, the problem is like when you take the character away, like she doesn't have a ton of charisma without the character. So all right, so we'll see what happens. I'm really looking forward to the next month. As a fan of both companies, I'm honestly more into what's going on in NXT right now than main roster, but okay, just the way I feel. No,
that's fine. It's just interesting. That's just okay.
Yeah. But anyways, Jeff, let's do your plugs. We're over time.
I have plugs to give at Crap Game 13 on X. I'll be on a show on lovewrestling.ca called Between Two Beards tomorrow with Pluggo and JPJ. It's going to be part Clash in Paris preview, part NFL preview with Rick I think you pronounce it Uccino as well. So 2 Bengals fans. Rick does a lot of, I believe, he does some stuff for Fightful. I thought he used it, but I can't remember right now. I don't have his credentials at hand, but that'll be tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific. Talking football with him is fun because JPJ is just such a New England homer. And then Shake Them Ropes this week. All the news and whatnot. But for Vader Club, I have decided to do a 10-year retrospective of one Sasha Banks versus Bayley. From Brooklyn too. Where are we in women's wrestling? Did Dave get it wrong? Yes. The star rating. And it's gonna be a long discussion about Bayley, really, because I don't know at the end of her career where it lands now. And it's starting to worry me a little bit, but that'll come out probably Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah, well, I think wherever it ends is going to be where her buddy ends. So I think the two of them are going to be in the same place, and the question is where that's going to be.
I do as well.
Yeah. So and for me, I'll be doing, I think, the Takedown with Garrett. We did a live show this week. It's still up on the Fight Game Media YouTube channel if you want to check it out. So whatever big news breaks over the weekend, we'll be talking about it on Monday. And then Jeff and I will be back next week with the second show from Philly. We'll see if I'm sick of this building yet. Spoiler alert, I already am. So for Jeff, I've been Paul Fontaine, and this has been the Dynamite Show.